Okay, so the question here is, are these two functions inverse functions? And for them to be inverse functions, two things have to be true. First, f of g of x has to be x, meaning if I take a number and I plug it in here for x, I get a number out. I take that number, plug it into f, and the number I get out is my original number. Okay? So I have to do that f of g of x equals x, and I also have to show that g of f of x equals x. It needs to work in both directions. Okay, so let's try the first way. So f of g of x. So f of g of x is negative 1 plus 2x over x plus 1. Okay, so that's f of that, but what is f of that? Well, that's negative that. This is going to get a little complicated. Negative 1 plus 2x over x plus 1 minus 1 over negative 1 plus 2x over x plus 1 minus 2. And what I hope you see is that this is that x there, right? And this is that x there. So I just have negative whatever's in here minus 1. And so now I have to deal with this. So I'm pausing to think what the best way to go here is. Here's my trick. Is I see an x plus 1 in denominators here. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom of this by x plus 1. I'm multiplying by a smart 1. Okay? And if I multiply that, I've got to distribute it. I gotta figure out how to use this the best way. I gotta distribute this each one times each one here, right? So I end up with a negative 1 plus 2x, and then the x plus 1 here and the x plus 1 here, they become a 1, they cancel, minus 1 times x plus 1, x plus 1, over, and I distribute here, negative 1 plus 2x, and the x plus 1's cancel here and here, and then I have minus 2 times x plus 1. And I've got to follow through and see what happens. So I have and of course I'm hoping for an x. So I have a negative 1, so that's a 1 minus 2x, and then over here minus x minus 1, all over negative 1 plus 2x minus 2x minus 2. And my numerator here is 1 minus 1, that's a 0. Negative 2x minus 2x is negative 3x. My 2x's and my 2x cancels here, and I have a negative 1 minus 2, which gives me a negative 3, and that all becomes x. And I did it. Okay? And actually, I'm going to tell you this is going to work, and the exercise is to do it in the other direction. Okay? So what you need to do is you need to find g of f of x. Okay? Most of the examples aren't this tricky, but with fractions it can get complicated. That's why I did this as a video. So do your best.